Hey folks, David Tao with BarBend.com, and today we're going to be talking about one of the top 5 men to qualify for the CrossFit Games finals in Aromas, California, and that's Samuel Kwant. I happen to think he's one of the most underrated CrossFit Games athletes in history. We'll get to why in just a little bit, but first make sure you subscribe to BarBend on YouTube. It's probably what you're watching this video on right now. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It'll help us out big time, and it'll keep you up to date on all things weightlifting, powerlifting, CrossFit, strongman, and much more. So Sam Kwant actually qualified for the finals of this year's CrossFit Games after placing 4th overall after stage 1 of the CrossFit Games. That was the virtual competition where athletes competed remotely. But Sam is a CrossFit Games veteran, and before we dive in to his actual performance in stage 1 and what kind of shape he's looking in going into the finals, I want to chat a little bit about his CrossFit Games history, because this guy's been under the radar, at least under a lot of people's radar, for a long time, but he's super fit and super consistent and has been making incredible progress over the past few years. Let's talk about Samuel Kwant's CrossFit Games history. He first qualified for CrossFit Regionals. Remember those? Way back in 2014 when he was just 18 years old. In 2016, he qualified for his first ever CrossFit Games, and he was the youngest male competitor in that field at just 20 years old. He qualified again in 2017, but an injury took him out of normal training and competition in 2018, so he didn't compete then. So after injury derailed his 2018 season, Kwant came back looking really strong, qualified for the CrossFit Games for the 3rd time in 2019, and actually finished in 13th place overall. So heading into the 2020 CrossFit Games, he was definitely an athlete to watch. The story of Samuel Kwant's stage 1 of this year's CrossFit Games is one of getting better over time. He probably didn't have the start he wanted, but he certainly had a finish to be proud of. He started off friendly Fran the first workout of stage 1 with an 18th place finish, and he followed that up with a 10th place finish in the front squat, squatting 413 pounds. In Damn Diane, he finished in 25th place, by far his worst finish overall in stage 1, but he followed that up on the 1,000 meter row with a 3rd place finish. That's not a big surprise to those who know Samuel Kwant. He's an athlete who's very, very good at some of those monostructural cardio, just all out grit and burn it workouts. That 3rd place finish on the row was the beginning of Kwant really turning things around on the weekend. He followed up that row performance with an 8th place finish on Nasty Nancy, the longest workout of the weekend and the only one that involved running. Kwant still needed 2 very strong performances in the final events of stage 1 to crack that top 5, and that's just what he did. He had a 3rd place finish on the handstand hold and a 7th place finish on Awful Annie, the final workout of the weekend. That was good enough to place him in 4th overall and to punch his ticket to the finals in Aromas, California. We've been fortunate enough to feature Samuel Kwant on BarBend. We have an interview with him, which we'll link in the description below and in a card right around here. He's a really interesting guy. He's a new father. He trains out of his parents' home gym. There's a lot to him and a lot to his training that might seem unorthodox compared to a lot of other top CrossFit Games athletes. Really interesting interview, and we want to thank Samuel Kwant for his time in granting us that. Anyway, that is Samuel Kwant, one of the top 5 fittest men on earth for 2020, and one of the athletes who will be competing at the CrossFit Games finals in Aromas, California. Until then, I'm David Tao with BarBend.com. Thanks for tuning in.